You've had enough of that shit.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Just getting a few extra shares out there. Trying to find some football fans. Dogs first. Good morning, Chance. Good morning, Ken. Looks like Lions fans are representing in here.
You like that?
Oh, we got Bear Down Mike in there. We got some stuff. You know, I got to wait for this moment right here. Here it comes. Oh, look at that. Tight end one. Tight end one. There's Panay. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. How is it going? God, I got to work on that at the end right there where it just cuts right out right there. How is everybody doing out there? Welcome to NFC North Talk with your host. That's me. That's Russell Wayne right here. And it is August the 1st, 2023. Got a couple of weeks. We're in training camp, baby. We're in training camp. We appreciate everybody that comes here every day, makes us one of the listens. One of your football listens, because yeah, here at the main event. This is the home of the bad takes. And not because we're bad at takes. It's because, 75% of the fan base, when you're talking about the NFC North, anytime you open up your mouth, they think you're full of crap, right? That's how it go right there. But wanted to say hello to everybody. I wanted to put a shout out to all of the spots we are going live right now. One is the Detroit Lion News. Thank you very much, Joe Chat, for letting us be in your little group, not little group, 55,000 strong up in there. Our page is the Detroit Lions Villain Squad. We're approaching 1,100. Go give us a like. Go give us a follow if you haven't done that already, because we represent the Detroit Lions here on the NFC North Talk right here. There's Mike the Bear fan. Mike the Bear fan representing all the bear down people in the Bears Mafia or whoever is out there representing the Chicago Bears. Bill the Packer fan, who is the great spot if you're into Packerhead stuff and you like the Green Bay Packers. Give Bill the Packer fan a follow. And if you like the Minnesota Vikings, well, at least you have Justin Jefferson on your team, because that's pretty cool, because he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. And how are you doing? Thank you for giving us a like and a subscribe. So here we are. Let's talk right off the bat right here. I know that we got some Lions fans in here. So let's talk about this Jameson Williams thing a little bit. Did we blow this out of proportion yesterday? I mean, because we had so many of these haters in here. We already called him a bust. Jameson Williams is a bust because he open hand smacked a guy, Starling Thomas, the fifth, for having a good play on him, covering him real tight, smacked him around a little bit, right? We blew this way out of proportion. We got to worry about his character and everything. And then come to find out, when they're interviewing and they're talking about this isn't that big of a deal. Do you know that in training camp that tensions rise and there's fights like every day on every team that don't get talked about? And just because he's Jameson Williams, we want to put this on the front burner, right? We want to put it on the front burner. Oh, look at Jameson. He's going to be bust city. And then they talked about his 2 drops. He had 2 drops yesterday. 2 drops in training camp. Oh my gosh, he's going to be a bust. He's going to be a bust. But they don't talk about how he cooked Chauncey Gardner Johnson and left him in the dust because of his route running. Man, are we blowing this Jameson Williams thing out of proportion here? I mean, he's in training camp. He's learning the playbook. He looks really, really, really good and fast when it comes to Jameson Williams. You guys watched him out there yet? You watch how crisp those routes are? This guy is a machine route runner. Little toe tap. So if you guys can go out there and you guys can talk about your team doing well in training camp, I think that we can do that too. CJ had a great camp yesterday. This is hey, I think that's a good call. That's a good call. He did. Everybody thought that he was going to be injured. We thought this was going to be same old Lions, right? We thought that it was going to be the injury bug. You get the high acquisition free agent signing. And then he gets injured. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be an ACL. It's going to be a meniscus. All kinds of clever little doctor words. Oh no, we're all doctors now. It's over. No, turned out to not be that bad of a deal. And yesterday, Chauncey Gardner's out there making plays, firing up the team, being available for his team. Good morning, Chance. Good morning, Ken Fisher. Wanted to say good morning to all these peeps out there. George Williams, can't wait to game number 1. One pride. Jordan. Good morning, Jordan. Go Lions. Yes. What's going on, Chance? He's calling out George Williams right there. He says, he can't wait 37 days. 37 days. Let's go. We're going to have some football. Real football. We got fake football this week, don't we? The Hall of Fame game coming up. I like that. What's up, Chad? Good to see you here in the comments right here. What's happening, Michael? Just bought my Hendon Hooker jersey. Yes, going out on a limb right there. You think Hendon Hooker is going to be in here next year, huh? What do you think about that, Michael? What do you guys think about that out there? Hendon Hooker, is he going to see any action? Would he see any action? Year one, they're planning on redshirting him. We got a good quarterback. Jared Goff is a badass. He is a badass. He was rated as the number 66 quarterback by all the players. Number 66 quarterback. Number 66 player, not the 66 quarterback. Yeah, you guys have some fun with that one, trolling me. Jared Goff is the 66th best quarterback in the NFL. Oh, gosh. That's third stringer right there. Oh, what's up, TJ? TJ says hi. Bear down, Mike. Of course, we got some Bear fans in here. What's up, Calvin? I know that you're a Lions fan. Michael says that CJ had a great camp yesterday. Chauncey Gardner looking like the man out there, breaking up passes, making it hard for our own offense. He's a child, bro. Yeah. I mean, I can agree with that.
You like that?
He's a child. You know, he just got out of college. And, you know, there are some signs of immaturity. Yeah, you don't want to be smacking your guys in the head. But, I mean, they made it sound like it was an all-out brawl, guys. They made it sound like he's out there causing problems in the middle of the field when really he's just getting fired up at the end of a play, being competitive. And it was an open hand smack in the helmet. It wasn't even a punch. It was an open hand punch. I mean, it happens in every single camp on every single practice field. It's just because it was Jameson doing it. It gets all the hype, right? Travis Kelce did the same thing. Oh, he's immature. Okay. He's also trying to go out with Taylor Swift, too. Buying her like a $10,000 bracelet with his phone number on it. What's up with that? Go Kelce. Go Kelce. Bear down Mike says it's going. And the Jets just had a fight on Hard Knocks. Yeah, it happened. And you know what Brad Holmes said last year? Not Brad Holmes, but Dan Campbell. When it came to the training camp, he said, we want you to fight. We want you to be competitive. But if you start a fight that turns out into an all-out brawl, then they're going to kick you off the team. And these guys know that. They want the fieriness. They want to see people being competitive. Every team wants to see everybody being competitive. You better hope you have some guys fighting on your team. Because if you don't have some guys that are fighting on your team, they're going to get their asses kicked by the other 31 teams because they're all having fights on their team. They have a whole bunch of guys fighting to get on that team. There's no 2 levels of cut downs anymore. It goes from 90 to 53. That's a lot of dudes. They got to get cut from the team. I mean, you know, we're competitive. Like human beings are competitive by nature, right? Now you put money on the line. Not only, you're not just making the team, that's your livelihood. You're playing for money. You're playing for, I mean, not everybody makes $50 million a year in the NFL. And I'm not saying that these guys are crying making $700,000-$800,000 a year or something like that. They're not crying about that. But here's the thing: is the average NFL career. We ain't talking about years and years and years. Like if you wanted to make the NFL work for you, you got to save up all your money and try to make enough money in those contracts to last you for the rest of your life. Right. That's the dream, right? I want to support my family for the rest of my life off of football. And you're only going to get to play 5 or 6 years. Most people. There are some people that are out there that last, you know, the Tom Brady. Not everybody's Tom Brady. Not everybody's Aaron Rodgers. They don't all go to 40. And I think that we all know that. I think that we can all agree with that, right? So it's way out of proportion. It's way out of proportion at this point with Jameson Williams. Why is that? Why are we harder on him? I was even harder on him yesterday. I'm even buying into some of that negativity hype. Oh, look at who we got. Look at who we got. Mike, main event Mike, here just in time so we can talk about this Jameson Williams thing. Bringing it back up. I'm bringing it back up.
What are we talking about, Russ?
I was talking about Jameson Williams. It got brought up, and I wanted to, and I was just hitting it, and I think I was too hard on him yesterday after listening to his interview. And this is not a deal. This shouldn't even have been news. It was so ridiculous that they reported it the way that they did. The media should be ashamed of themselves.
This guy's a polarizing figure.
Right.
He's a lightning rod.
And that's fair that you want to scrutinize him, but if you're going to go at him for doing an open hand smack on somebody's head in the middle of training camp where all 32 teams have fights every single day, more than one, this is competitive fire. If you didn't have competitive fire out there, then you're going to get your ass kicked by the other 31 teams in the NFL because you're fighting to make this team right now. You're fighting to make maybe Jamo isn't fighting to make this team, but Starling Thomas, the fifth, is certainly fighting to make this team. So I think they blew it way out of proportion. I mean, you want to double down on being concerned?
When it come out today that it was an open hand slap on the helmet, that does change it, doesn't it? I mean, that's propaganda. I mean, that's being blown out of proportion. If he threw a punch, if it was a legit fight, then that would be.
I always give it a few seconds before it gets out there. I don't know if that's me, so I want to know if that was him. Me? I can hear you now, but I'm worried that I can always hear me because I'm in my studio and I can always hear me. I need to know if you guys can hear me or if that just cut the whole thing out. If this would have been a different player,
I don't even think it would have been news, right? It's because it's Jameson Williams, and there are so many people that want to see this kid fail. And now with the gambling thing, it just compounds that. There's even more people that want to see him fail. Anything this kid does, he's going to be in the spotlight. And let's face it, as Lions fans, we aren't used to that. We really aren't.
Thank you, Woody, for letting me know that you can hear us both. Everybody can hear us. Cool. Thank you very much for being so fast on that. And here's the thing. I don't have any issues with the media putting out that somebody threw a punch or something like that. I mean, that's their job. They're supposed to report that thing. But if you're going to report that stuff, you got to report the other side of it too. And I didn't see much out there other than videos, but Jameson Williams had a couple really, really nice catches in training camp yesterday. It's a little toe tap drag, and he doesn't look like he's guardable with the way that he's running routes out there. He cooked Chauncey Gardner-Johnson on one of the plays. And the throw wasn't on because I think it was Sudfield that was throwing. I don't think it was Goff that was throwing it to him. But
that sideline grab you're talking about where he dragged his toe, that was Cam Sutton, our CB1, covering him, and he looked so explosive coming off the line, making that cut. Jared Goff threw the ball before he even made the cut, so that might be an indefensible play right there because he's so fast, he cuts so quick. It's all about the hands now. If he can get rid of that, the dropsies that he's had, I think every wide receiver goes through that. But once he gets that cleaned up, he's going to be murder.
Oh, by the way, I mean, we report wrong news on here all the time because this is a smack talking thing. So people love to embellish things. It was not 4 drops; it was 2 drops. Okay, so if you're going to talk some smack, can we please come in with correct information and let's not put your exaggerated bullshit on top of it? So, because here's the thing is we will go read the information afterwards and check you on your stuff. So no matter who you are, if you come on here and you come on here not correct, we're going to correct you once we go read this stuff. So he did have a couple of drops in that practice, and you do want to clean up those drops. You don't want drops, but how many balls were thrown his way with those drops? And are you micromanaging these drops? Let's say John Doran says number 1 draft pick gets owned by a non-drafted player. What does that mean? That the undrafted player made one play against Jameson Williams, and I guess that's ownership. But we're not going to talk about any of the other stuff about that. You ain't got nobody on your team. Jair Alexander couldn't even defended that play. That route. I mean, did you notice that when he was running that route, how he sold that he was going in the post, and he looked over the middle of the field as he was making his cut? I mean, that's next level stuff right there when it comes to elite. He is an elite route runner right now. I want to put it back in John Doran's face. Yeah, you mean that time like Jerry Jacobs when he covered? Oh, wait, the Packers never drafted number 1 wide receiver in the first round. That's right. Right. Tina says that Jameson needs to be suspended indefinitely.
And she's a Lions fan.
She does not like Jameson Williams.
Polarizing, I'm telling you.
Hey, here's the thing, is everybody that is a true Lions fan, the minute that you see him running into the end zone where somebody can't catch him, all of this stuff is going to go right out the window. All of the John Doran smack talk. He may call him a toothpick or something like that, but you're not going to deny this guy's ability when he gets out there. I mean, it is what it is. You can't teach a guy to fly like that. And obviously the skill set, he isn't just fast. Bear Down Mike says, didn't Gronk live off his endorsements and saved his NFL paychecks? Oh, I was talking about the guys competing for a roster spot earlier when it came to Jamo, to where I expect these guys to have a fiery attitude. Like, you're trying to make the damn football team. I mean, they're about ready to cut like 30 people in a couple of weeks. These guys are playing not just for their NFL lives, they're playing for their careers. And Gronk also made a hell of a lot more money than your average NFL player, who is usually just like a practice squad or one of the 53 people that are on the rosters. They don't earn millions.
I'm not familiar with that story, Mike. I suppose that's possible. I have never heard that before. But one thing's for sure, Gronk could have made enough off his bonus checks from playoffs and Super Bowls to live off. That's for sure. And bank all his game checks because, he had Tom Brady. So.
Right. And what I'm talking about with this is these guys that are fighting, like even the guy that if you make the 90-man roster, you get paid. Like, I don't know if people really understand that. It's not like you're going and doing all that work for free. They give you practice checks and those guys live off of that stuff. A lot of these guys are trying to make as much money as they can to, so they can live their dreams, so they can live the rest of their life out saying, hey, I was a professional football player and it supported my family and my life.
And once they get vested, just like any union in the NFLPA, you have to get vested. I was in the Carpenters Union. It took 3 years to get vested. I believe in the NFL Players Union, it's 5 years. It might be 3 years. Mark Schmidt, if you're out there listening, let us know what the vested time is for the NFLPA. I'm not 100% sure. But they get residual checks then for the rest of their life due to the NFLPA, who is also part of the TV revenue. The massive TV revenue contracts that the NFL gets, they trickle that down also to the NFLPA. So after they've been in a certain amount of vested years, they're set for life anyway. Even if they've blown through their game checks, they're getting nice big chunks from the NFLPA. And I did see a really cool quote the other day, and I'll share it with your viewers. It's very interesting. Justin Fields, Jordan Love, and Tom Brady have all combined for 7 Super Bowls.
Stop playing with us.
Oh gosh, that's good stuff, dude. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Jeremy says that the NFL is 5 years.
Okay, so it is. It's 5 years to be vested, just like the Carpenters Union. So it's a lot, just as much work.
And that's something, like, we get so caught up in, how much is this guy making, and they're not going to report being like, hey, Shane Zylstra signed a $430,000 contract today. Like, nobody cares on those lower end contracts, but that's where most of them are. These practice squad, I don't know what they make. The league minimum, if you make the 53-man roster, is like 800 or something like that, but I don't know what it is just to have the guys being on the practice squad, but I know that they make a living on there.
The average lifespan of an NFL player is 3.3 years. So most of them do not get vested after 5 years. Jeremy, thank you for that too, by the way, Jeremy, for setting us straight on that. 5 years to be vested. You've got to get to your second contract to get vested and get that residual income for life. So, these guys in training camp are playing hard, like you said, not just for their job, but for their career. So they don't have to go and sell insurance 3 years later.
Right. And I wanted to thank everybody in here that told us that they could hear us, because, as much as I love hearing myself talk all the time, I don't want to be talking to myself. So I appreciate that. Michael says that it's because an elite player for a breakout season, he was a number one receiver last year. It comes because of the elite. Okay. Who are we talking about here? He was the number one receiver last year. Yeah. Maybe I thought that was going to be something. It's not you, Russ. Mike was frozen. Yes. Okay.
Yes. So Michael's saying, yes, he's talking about as a drafted, he was a number one draft pick.
Talking about Jamo.
Number one draft pick receiver is what he's saying.
Right. Jamo, I like the passion he is showing out there. I mean, it's not Antonio Brown. Okay. So,
right.
And Garrett does not like the comment by Tina, says she needs to go. No, he doesn't. It's like, no, Garrett, she's allowed to have that opinion. I mean, Jamo had a sketchy start to his career. I mean, and you can't deny that. I'm not gonna go overboard with all of this non-stuff. It's like what we tend to do because of the one big thing that he did, which the gambling he needed to be corrected on. Okay. That had to be done. The other thing was an injury, but everything outside of that, that's normal NFL, wide receiver diva type of stuff that you would see on any team anywhere. So I feel you on that. Good morning, Sarah. I appreciate you being a Viking fan and being on here and representing the Minnesota Vikings, because nobody else will. Calvin, this is John Dorn we are talking about here. John Dorn's always good for a couple of, Homer Packer takes. And if we want to bring in some of the Packer stuff, are we buying into any of this Jordan Love looks great in training camp stuff right now?
He could be really good.
He could be really good.
He's got the tools. He's a number one pick. They moved up to get him for a reason. They let a Hall of Fame quarterback walk out the door. They drove a Hall of Fame quarterback out the door for a reason. This guy could be good, and it's a bit scary. I'm a little scared. I'm going to be honest. I'm more scared of Jordan Love and Justin Fields than I am of Kirk Cousins, because I know what Kirk Cousins brings. He's the known commodity. These other two are not known. Justin Fields has so much potential, but you're playing the quarterback position, and being accurate with the football is paramount. And he hasn't shown that he can do that yet. But if he does show that he can do that, he's going to be dangerous as well. So, Jordan Love, it's the unknown. It's going to be very interesting. I mean, Aaron Rodgers only won 6 games in his first year. So what is the expectation for Green Bay fans with Jordan Love? That's the real question also.
And that's a great question. And if we want to throw that out to the people, and the people being any fan base, we really want to hear from Green Bay fan. How are you really feeling on this Jordan Love? Is this just smoke? in the training camp, not really worried about this yet. They're not allowed to hit him. He's got that red jersey on, so these guys aren't allowed to tee off on him and give him real pressure. But what do you think about that out there? Bear fan, Viking fan, Lion fan. What do you think about the Jordan Love thing? I mean, are they just being homers, thinking that he's just this guy? All of a sudden, he's just going to sling it around like Aaron Rodgers did.
Yeah, I think if you're a if you're a Bears, Lions, or Vikings fan, and you're not worried about Jordan Love, then you're not paying attention. You haven't been paying attention for the last 30 years. Green Bay has drafted and developed quarterbacks, and very well. I know that they didn't draft Brett Favre. I realize that. But even their backup quarterbacks, guys like Matt Flynn, comes in, plays good, gets himself a big contract in Seattle, right? They have a history of good quarterback play there, and it should worry you that we don't know what this kid could be. After 30 years of dominating this division, the Green Bay Packers are now venturing off into the great unknown for the first time in a long time. And we, as the other three fan bases, should be somewhat worried about that since they've dominated this division in our lifetime.
Yeah, and it isn't just Jordan Love. You should realize that this team is really the same team that it was last year, minus Jordan Love, and all of their first-year players are now second-year players. So there is this leveling up of all ships that can be happening offensively, but yet you still have those 8 first-round draft picks on defense. That's still the same young ascending defense. So the defense of the Green Bay Packers scares me more than Jordan Love does.
And you can get on Jameson Williams as much as you want. That's your right to do that. But as a person out in the world, you shouldn't be allowed to call someone a toothpick if you in fact have no teeth.
Oh.
Stop playing with us.
There we go, Mike. See, Mike was feeling so bad last night because we did NFC North open, Mike, and there was barely any trash talk. It was like a good football conversation last night, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I know. I got a bunch of pent-up trash talk.
Maybe we're just, our opinions are just too good, Mike. Maybe our opinions are so good that somebody's starting to actually think that we're like legitimate people or something.
I want to put it out there to Tina because we appreciate Tina. She lives down in Florida, and she's a Lions fan, and she's on here all the time, and we appreciate her so much. I want to ask you, you think Jamo should be suspended indefinitely? I want to ask you, is that because of the gambling, or are we talking about this, this training camp fight? Which are we talking about here? Why do you think Jameson Williams should be suspended indefinitely? That's making me curious.
Yeah, that is a good question because I mean that seems harsh. I mean, maybe you know something that we don't know. TJ says you're right. Gambling needed to be corrected, but the fight showed fire at the practice, and that's it. You got to expect these guys to fight for their jobs. And it wasn't like he started an all-out brawl like the media let it out to be, like he's just this guy that's just his punk ass that's going around starting fights with everybody. It was like a 5-second little like skirmish, shoving back and forth, and a swat of the head. It was really a non-issue. And when they asked him about it, like I had never really heard Jameson talk before, and he's just a calm, well-mannered just kid that answered the questions. Like it wasn't like he was like, I'm a baller. That's what I do. I go out and I ball because I ball. He wasn't aggressive like that. He was just like, yeah, Chauncey Gardner said I was going to be the greatest. Okay, well, I'm willing to work for that. I want to be the greatest. Who doesn't want to be the greatest? I'm willing to work for it. I'm willing to go out here and put the time in. Look at Amon-Ra St. Brown over there. He's probably catching balls at the jug right now while I'm talking to you. I should probably go over there and practice more. Like he was saying stuff like that. It doesn't like T.O. like this, what they're trying to paint him as. He ain't that.
That's a great call. That's it. They're trying to paint him as a Torello and like a locker room cancer.
And it's just not. It's not in there. I mean, Google the interview. Listen to the guy talk. I mean, it isn't that. Eric Thomas says no, and he's nice to know that Bear Down Mike says finally a Lions fan admits that he's scared of Justin Fields.
Right. Why wouldn't you be? Oh, well, I'm a Michigan fan too, so I seen him beat me in college every year. So yeah, it's PTSD.
Yep, and I was a fan of Justin Fields at Ohio State. He was one of the best quarterbacks that ever came through that pipeline, even though Ohio State's never produced a quarterback. I mean, what would you do if this year he balls out and CJ Stroud balls out? Are all you Michigan fans going to shut up then? I mean, if they produce two at the same time, I am scared of Justin Fields and a connection with any wide receiver.
Hold on there, Buckeye. Hold on there. Michigan fans are not the only ones who say that Ohio State quarterbacks are busts in the NFL. It's history that says that, okay?
Okay. That's fine. That's a great take. When you think of how many teams have a quarterback or how many college teams have quarterbacks in the NFL, and then think of them, how many of the 119 teams don't have quarterbacks in the NFL. And I mean, it's a dumb argument because it's such a big transition from from college to the NFL. And I mean, what did they say about Russell Wilson? I mean, he went to Wisconsin. Does Wisconsin all of a sudden not suck because Russell Wilson came along? What happened to all those years before where they couldn't produce a quarterback? All they could produce is running backs and offensive line. So it's like there's 119 teams in college and there's 32 NFL teams. So there are going to be some teams, and Ohio State does produce quite a bit of wide receivers, running backs, and defensive ends. So maybe they built their team a little bit different. But under Ryan Day, the last two quarterbacks, he's been getting quarterbacked at Ohio State. Justin Fields and CJ Stroud are both Ryan Day guys. Urban Meyer likes the quick quarterbacks that never make it in the NFL. That's just what they had. So was Jim Tressel. Same thing. They didn't run their offense using NFL style quarterbacks. So, but yeah, you can't say that. It is history. There has never been an Ohio State quarterback that's been anything, but there has been an Ohio State quarterback that was ranked 76 by his peers as the best 76 best player in the NFL.
And that's Justin Fields. So Jeremy Ballrock says training camp is where guys learn how to play, where mistakes are corrected. Am I wrong? Or is this Jamo's first offseason? That's fair. Absolutely fair. And to bear down Mike, I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm scared of Justin Fields because I watched the game last year that we won in Soldier Field by 1 point, and I watched him rip off a 76-yard run. Okay? Yeah. The kid's a crazy good athlete. Anybody should be scared of what this guy could be. But with that being said, this is his third year. And if he washes out with 2 or 3 wins this year, I won't be scared of him anymore because I don't see him continuing in Chicago as a quarterback.
Right. And I definitely agree with that. And what I would say about that is that Justin Fields definitely proved that he could run the football last year. 100% that he is a threat with the legs, and he does not have to be. The scariest part to me is he doesn't have to be that good of a passer to be really, really effective in the NFL. He just needs to show people that he can pass a little bit.
Right. And he's going to have a better offensive line and more weapons around him. And that was the excuse Bears fans used all season and all offseason. He had no O-line. He had no receivers. And now all of a sudden they get DJ Moore and Mooney and Claypool are the greatest again. I don't know how that happened. But and now they're spending $40 million on 2 tight ends. They better use those guys because that's an awful lot of your salary cap. So all the excuses are gone, bear down, Mike. And at the end of this season, if they're not over 6 wins, I will no longer be scared of Justin Fields.
Well, there we go. What do you think? Are you you're like Viking fan, Bear fan, Packer fan, Lion fan? Justin Fields. Are you scared of this guy? And if you're a Bear fan, should Should everybody be scared? Is it breakout time for Justin Fields? Is he going to be balling out in 2023? We want to know. Throw that in the comments. That's what we want to know. Right there. So Sarah says, what else are they supposed to say to the press? He sucks. What a mistake. I ain't buying love. You can't buy me love.
Can't buy me love.
You can't buy me love. Jordan Cole says, loved Jordan Love at Utah State. I root for him except when he plays my Lions. Okay, so Jordan, a Lion fan, was watching Jordan Love play at Utah State. I don't know why the hell you would ever do that.
Love Jordan Love at Utah State. So you're the one.
I mean, I cannot believe how many people say that they've watched Jordan Love play. I mean, Nick from the Frozen Tundra. I'm in Utah. I've watched him. All these guys are like, man, I'm going to Utah State. I gotta check out some prospects. Said nobody ever.
Well, Nick Green actually said when they drafted Jordan Love, he paraded around the house like in celebration because he knew he watched this guy every Saturday and he knew that he was something special. And when they went to his Packers, he was just ecstatic about it. So I kind of feel bad for those guys who've had to wait 3 years now to see what it's going to be. And the Packers were pretty smart. They gave him a split contract. If I'm Jordan Love's agent, I think they made a mistake. He should have played this year, balled out, and made the Packers make a commitment to him. But instead, he buckled, and he let them do a split contract. Now he doesn't get the 5th-year option. It's going to be very interesting season. I can't think of a season with more anticipation, not just as a Lions fan, but around the league to see what the 2023 NFL season. Let's face it, the NFL has built a product here that is year-round, right? It's year-round. It's the parity, the competitive balance is so in sync that these TV contracts, they're foaming at the mouth to just give their money away to the NFL because so many people around the world, they're developing a global audience as well. I mean, all these things are lining up perfect for the NFL to make 2023 the most anticipated season in football history, only topping last year's anticipation. So now with the Detroit Lions emerging from the abyss of 60 years, finally, all of us Lions fans are finally getting to join the party in all the enthusiasm. So I know all you other fan bases are probably sick and tired of hearing these Lions beat their chest about how great our team is after winning 9 games and missing the playoffs. I get that. But if you think it's bad now, wait till this time next year and see what the Lions fans are squawking.
Yeah, as long as they deliver for the first time ever. Like we're hoping that we're standing right on the roadway that is taking us to that spot because we've never been to that spot. We've never been competitive for more than a couple years at a time. I don't think that this is just a 2023 thing. As a matter of fact, I think that it's only going to get stronger for the next 2 years before there has to be like a manipulation of talent, moving money around and stuff. So they got a little window right here, in my opinion.
But Brad Holmes has the salary cap set up so beautiful. I mean, the way it's called fluidity of the salary cap, right? As one contract is expiring, you're signing another. And then you just keep that fluidity going so that you're able to manage that money. And that's the art of a GM. I mean, that's the real art where it comes in. And so far, Brad Holmes is Picasso.
So Bear Down Mike says Packers are going to be a run-first offense, short pocket passes for Jordan.
I agree.
And I wanted to double this together with John Dorn saying that people sleeping on Jordan Love. And I think that's funny because, John, do you ever pay attention to the words that come out of our mouth? Like, have you listened to the broadcast or you just type stuff into the comments? Because I don't know if you've been listening, but Mike and I have been giving Jordan Love and Justin Fields props for the last 10 minutes. So it must be these people in the comments that you're talking about. You can't be talking about us We were actually giving your boy some attaboys.
Well, in John's defense there, how many predictions have you seen that have the Packers in the basement at the end of the year? A lot. A lot of people are picking the Packers in the basement. You and I both picked them to finish second in this division. So we're two of the people who are not sleeping on Jordan Love for sure.
Right. And the thing is you have the most to prove. So if you're talking the smack talk is somebody just saying, hey, I don't know, he could be awful. I mean, I'm sitting here. Am I scared of Jordan Love? I'm scared of what he could do. I'm scared that the Green Bay Packers could have 3 really, really good quarterbacks right in a row and not have any break in that. But I'm also on the thought process that he could be awful just as easy as he could be that good. I mean, he could be really, really bad too. That could be a thing where they paid him less money because they knew that he wasn't that good. And Jordan Love took that money and that pay cut, even though he didn't have to, because he knows that he's not that good. That could be it too. That could be it. Which one is it? Do you think that Jordan Love is just buying his time until they can use 2 first-round draft picks and trade up and get Caleb Williams next year because they know Jordan Love is trash? Or is Jordan Love the man? And gosh, if you guys can win 9 games, 40 million behind the salary cap, then look out north. That's all I'll say about the Green Bay Packers. They're 40 million behind the cap. If they compete this year, you guys should feel really, really good about your team going forward.
I know that no one likes hypotheticals, Russ, but a hypothetical crossed my mind the other day, and I wanted to kick it around to you and your viewers. What if Bryce Young is the next Patrick Mahomes? What if he is the next Tom Brady? And the Chicago Bears had a chance to land him, and they trade back. That would mean Bryce Young and Patrick Mahomes they passed on. I mean, Bear fans are never going to forgive themselves if Bryce Young. I mean, they had the number 1 pick, and they traded back at what? To get what? What did they get out of it? Darnell Wright? He's no Broderick Jones, right? He's no Paris Johnson. I mean, if he turns out to be a cornerstone left tackle, or doesn't he even play right tackle? He didn't play right tackle. You drafted a right tackle. I mean, it's just going to be really hard if you're a Bears fan if Bryce Young blows up to be the next Patrick Mahomes. I mean, they're never going to live it down that they took Mitch Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes. But to have the number 1 pick doesn't come along all the time. You know, franchises don't get the number 1 overall pick all the time. Even the lowly Lions would win just enough games to get into, the 5th or 6th pick every year.
Right.
Where those cream of the crop 3 or 4 players at the top, we just would miss out on them. Those franchise-changing players we would just miss out on. And then you look at a team like the Houston Texans, they get 2 of them, right? They get C.J. Stroud and they get Will Anderson Jr. Those are the kind of moves that can make or break your franchise. And it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm always going to remember the 2022 draft as the what-if year for the Chicago Bears when they had that first pick and a gazillion dollars suspended free agents.
Right. And if I'm a Bear, and this is just me as a Bear, we're trying to be no homer right here, but if I'm a Bear fan and I saw the way that if I was a Lion fan, let's say, and I'm spending that $100 million, and the Lions spent the money in the way that the Bears did, I wouldn't be happy with the Lions that they paid top dollar for these 2 tight ends and then just top dollar for these 2 linebackers. And you got 2 positions that are supposedly the least of importance that you're spending all of this money on. So you had all that money, but you didn't get the game-changing guys with that money. So
the Lions set a record last year with most touchdowns by tight ends in a 9-game stretch with 3 or 4 nobodies. Bunch of nobodies. And you're going to spend $40 million on 2 tight ends in Chicago? I mean, I realize that your quarterback has accuracy issues, and the best way to solve that is good pass-catching running backs and good tight ends. That's the best way to solve that. So I guess I see where they're going with it, but it's a head scratcher.
Well, I mean, it's a head scratcher unless you're removing all of the excuses. Because if they don't figure out what Justin Fields is, then I mean, you got 2 first-round picks for the next 2 years. You can go get your quarterback. I'm not really worried about the Bryce Young thing not panning out for him because there's another pretty good quarterback class coming next year, and you are loaded with draft capital to go up there. And Poles is a better GM than Eberflus as a coach. So I'll go there.
And that's a great point. Justin Fields and Matt Eberflus, those were not Ryan Poles' hires. So I think this is the last year where Ryan Poles can let it ride out, really see what he's got in those two. And, the trinity of that coach, GM, and quarterback all have to be lined up for success. We've seen it so many times across the league, and that was something that the Jacksonville Jaguars owner said that he had to get right. That coach, that quarterback, and that general manager all have to line up and work together if you want to be successful. And I think Ryan Poles, he hasn't achieved that yet, and this year is going to be the make or break year for Eberflus and Justin Fields.
Let's see. Well, I'll hold off on Jordan Love until they start hitting other people. That is a big thing when we're talking about running around in shorts, guys. Like they have those red shirts on. Like we are protecting quarterbacks, especially when it comes to training camp, especially when it comes to your starting quarterback. Ain't nobody getting anywhere near Jordan Love in these practice and putting any type of hits on him. So I love that call. That's a great comment.
And athletic ability, that's one of his strong suits. So he's not going to be easy to bring down. He might not be as slippery as Justin Fields, who's a murder to bring down in the backfield. We saw that last year. I think Jordan Love is not going to be a statue like Kirk Cousins back there. And by the way, I was watching the Netflix series Quarterback last night. I'm almost finished with it. I was at the episode where Kirk Cousins was knocked out of the playoffs, and I've been becoming a Kirk Cousins fan through this whole series. What a great human being he is and what a solid football player he is. And I was a little hard on Kirk Cousins. We trashed him so bad on that 4th down play that ended their season. But there was a part of it that I didn't see. He was just about to get sacked. He took a big hit on that play, actually. And his two choices were get sacked or get the ball to T.J. Hawkinson short of the 1st down, and he took the best option. He did what he could, and, a little apology to those Vikings fans because I ripped Kirk Cousins for that so bad. And now seeing it with a breakdown, he had double coverage all over the field. T.J. Hawkinson was the only option that he had. He's just not mobile enough to escape that pressure. Maybe Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts could have extended the play. Kirk Cousins cannot extend the play. He knows his limitations, and he took the right avenue. So, a little apology to Vikings fans because I ripped him pretty hard this offseason.
Yeah, absolutely. And that actually is a good segue into one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, which is Kirk Cousins.
You like that?
Being voted by his peers as the 42nd best player in the NFL. It is the highest rated quarterback in the NFC North on that list. So, Kirk, you have been, and I'm not going to deny this, okay? Hey, Viking fans, write this down, okay? I'm going to give you a compliment here. Kirk Cousins is a really good quarterback, and he deserves the respect that he gets. I think he's a lot like Goff in that way, where he's a pocket quarterback that just doesn't get the love for his consistency over his entire career. Even at Washington, leading in the year, he's always had good, accurate years, and you deserve being the highest ranked quarterback in the NFC North. What do you got? You got something on that, Mike? You got something? I mean,
no,
you kind of just did.
You just basically paraphrased my take, so I don't know what I'm supposed to have on that.
So what do you think out there? I mean, did they rank Kirk Cousins too high?
That's a tough one. 46. I mean, yeah,
But these are the players, though. I mean, what are we supposed to say?
In the division, I'll give him that, but 46 seems awfully high for Captain Kirk for me. At the end, at 34 years old, about to be 35. I don't know about that one.
I mean, but here's the thing is like, we don't play the game as much as we sit up here talking heads, and we can watch the game and give you a good idea of what we see. But being voted by your peers to be into that spot, I put a lot more stock into that than I would, just, a bunch of talking heads putting a list together, They're actually out there playing.
Do you know when that final 100 list will come out so that we can see it in its entirety?
I think they do 10 every week up until the season starts.
So we won't know the top 10.
Yeah, they just did 40 to 50. So next week will be 30.
Where did Goff rank in that list?
He was 66.
66, okay.
Yeah, he was ahead of Justin Fields.
Quarterback in the division, according to the players.
According to the players, Justin Fields was a third-ranked quarterback, and obviously Jordan Love isn't going to be ranked yet, and that's not a slight on him. They don't have it. What are the players going to be like? Well, he did throw 15 balls, and that was really those throws were so good. We're going to rank him as the 7th best player in the NFL. That
right?
That doesn't
but
work
I did hear that Jordan Love was ranked in the top 10 for throwing in shorts.
Throwing in shorts. Yes, he's crushing it out there. Nobody could even touch him.
But I got to jump off, Russ. Can I plug the show?
Please do that.
Thanks, everyone, for joining Russell Wayne, Football Talk with Russell Wayne. But don't forget, every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, Russ and I are back with our Trash Talk group. It is the NFC North Open Mic Trash Talk every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Bring your thick skin, leave your feelings at the door, and we'll try not to hurt you too bad. I got a lot of pent-up aggression. So lately people aren't showing up because I've been too savage, I think. We had great engagement, great viewership, but nobody coming in to talk smack because I am the king of Sting. I'm going to have to tone it down a bit so I don't keep chasing people off, getting their self butt hurt with some of these takes that I have. So NFC North Open Mic, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. God bless you all.
Why, thank you, Mike. It's always a pleasure having Main Event Mike on here, and he is an excellent host. He does a good job there. I think he's a little bit too hard on himself with that. But I've been trying to think of the format and how we really wanted to do this. If I wanted to just like let people right on to the show, and is this a 11 to 12 thing or 11 to 1 thing? But I think that I want to every day be able to talk to Mike, because I love being able to talk to Mike about some football. And then after he wants to get out, I want to be able to throw it out to you guys and have a conversation with you guys. And if nobody wants to come on, nobody wants to come on. And then I'll just say goodbye. But I'm going to go through some of these comments in here by myself. And if nobody wants to come on, nobody wants to come on. But I did throw a link into the comments. And I'd love to hear from you. And I'm going to be on here for, half an hour or so if you guys want to talk some football with me. Eric Thomas says that my prediction is Lions 1, Bears 2, Vikings 3, and Packers 4th in the division. I noticed that Bear fans really, really, really hate the Packers. And you guys go head up. So usually when I'm talking about the Bears, I kind of just throw all the Packers stuff right out the door. And if I'm talking Packers, I throw all the Bears stuff right out the door, because you guys really love clowning on each other, and I love it. All in competitive fun, Sarah. I think we're talking about Jamo right there, and that's it. We were talking about that competitive fire of Jamo. Is it overboard? Is it too much? I personally think that the media blew it way out of proportion, because when they said he started a fight in training camp, I envisioned like this mall of people and him, gesturing, yeah, what's up? I'm the best in the world, like being all cocky and stuff. And it wasn't like that. And they sold that in the incorrect way, in my opinion. No one said Love was going to be bad. It's just an unknown at this time. Well, a lot of people have said that Jordan Love is going to be bad on this program, but this is the home of the bad takes right here. Thank you for chiming in, Eric. I love that you have good conversations here in the comments. Packers had an 18-year Super Bowl window and did nothing with it. I don't see anything changing. Well, they did get one in there, and then they got one with Favre too. So I'm a Lions fan and you're a Viking fan, so I don't think that we have a lot of room here. Jason says, "Skull!" Right there. You see, I gave Kirk Cousins.
You like that?
I gave him some props today. I think Kirk Cousins is an underrated player on your team. Robert says that he knows that the Packers. He knows that the Packers know that he is trash. Yeah, they didn't give him a lot of confidence when it comes to that contract, you know, extending him out to pay him less than what the 5th-year option would pay him. That's not a good show of, hey, I really believe in you. But it is a smart, savvy move by Packers GM Brian Gutekunst to pull that off, because he's putting the team first instead of letting Rodgers do his job for him. And that's got to be pretty embarrassing to know that, you know, all of a sudden you have control and you guys are happy that Gutekunst, oh, finally Rodgers, the manipulator. It's like, you're the GM, you're the coach. Why did you let Rodgers manipulate you? That's your fault. That's not Rodgers' fault. Jeremy said, fact. He was great from the rip. They would have opted the 5th-year option. They would have given but they gave him a prove it contract. Yep, that's where we're at. That is where we're at, Jeremy Ballrick. But at the same time, with the Bears O-line ranking in 20 and under, would Patrick Mahomes be Patrick Mahomes in Chicago? I don't know. I think Patrick Mahomes is pretty good. I don't think that he's protected by an offensive line or he needed skill makers. I think that he answered your questions last year, Jeremy. Oh, can he survive without Tyreek Hill and all those playmakers? Well, he proved that he can win a Super Bowl without those guys. So Patrick Mahomes is a unicorn. That's telling me that they have faith in Fields by trading the first pick. Oh, that's an interesting one. I got to think about that for a minute. Woody, you got my brain firing right there. Do you really think that it was a faith thing? I mean, I think when someone comes up and, you know, offers you what Carolina offered you, where you got a bona fide number 1 wide receiver and 2 first-round picks, you know, setting your future up. You got a lot of holes on there. I think it's like betting on red and black at the same time, Woody. I mean, you got a quarterback you don't know about, and you might as well go get some extra draft capital while you're at it, because you don't want to pick somebody number 1 overall and send that kind of message to your quarterback. So them trading back put confidence into Fields, I would think, for a little bit. And then you were able to pick up the extra draft capital. And if Fields is garbage this year, well, now you have the capital to move up. And if Fields is garbage, your team's going to be garbage. So you're already going to have a high first-round pick. Then you can use those other picks to be able to move up and make sure that you can get another quarterback lottery ticket. You know what I'm saying? Bear Down Mike says we got 2 linebackers for the price of 1. No, you didn't. No, you didn't get 2. You got 2 linebackers for the price of your linebackers. Roquan did want too much money, but you had so much money. You pretty much paid Tremaine Edmonds the same money that you were going to pay Roquan for a younger version of him that isn't quite as good as Roquan, but he's a good linebacker. I like TJ too. I thought that was a good pickup. So you had 2 good linebackers. I'm not hating on the players. What I'm hating on is the fact that you're taking positions and you're spending a ton of money on tight end and ton of money on linebackers when you need pass rushers. I mean, those linebackers better be really good at tackling. Y'all have no pass rush though. I don't know who we're talking about there. That's probably the Bears right there, because I don't have a pass rush. I certainly hope that you're not depending on Gibson as your number one pass rusher, but if you are, then it's going to be a long season. Jason MC says the apology accepted. Hey, I'm apologizing for the way that I talked about Kirk Cousins. I still think that your team's going to be garbage and you're going to be in the bottom of the division. I don't think that you're going to win a game in the division. I think the Bears are going to kick your ass twice. I think that the Lions are going to kick your ass twice. And I think that the Green Bay Packers are going to kick your ass twice too. So Bears, everybody's going to take a turn. Everybody's going to take a turn whipping that ass, because you won a lot of games last year close. And the teams that you won close games against aren't too happy about it. So, and those three teams that are in the division, they all got better and you didn't. So I do like Kirk Cousins though, but he's 34 years old. I have to work. Post my question, please. I don't know which one was your question. You, but at the time, okay. Would Patrick Mahomes be the Patrick Mahomes in Chicago? I think that's the that would be your question. Do you think that Patrick Mahomes, if he would have came to Chicago, do you think he would have won Super Bowls? That's a good. That's a decent question right there. I like that. I like that.
You like that?
Would he be? Would Patrick Mahomes have won a Super Bowl with the Chicago Bears? Eric seems to think not with that regime. I'm a Kirk fan, but he's my quarterback, so I'm going to roll with it. Kirk and JJ connection is top notch. I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't be a Kirk fan. I just don't get that. I think Kirk has been the greatest scapegoat that you guys have ever had. Anything that goes bad, you blame him. Anything that goes good, you give all the credit to JJ. So I think it's the pocket quarterback thing though, Sarah. I think there's just something about good pocket quarterbacks that it's just like, it just looks too easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to see the exciting guy. We want to see the guy running for his life and making plays outside the pocket. But the only problem with that is that's like 10% of the plays where shit breaks down like that. Like, you want to develop your whole quarterbacking around the fact that things might break down and he's going to have to escape a pocket and you have the possibility to make a play with somebody that does that outside the pocket. But can that guy that gets outside the pocket just stand in the pocket and do what he needs to do 90% of the time? All right, another question right here. Calvin, what do you think about Martin so far in camp? Broderick Martin. I know after watching Inside the Den that Aaron Glenn and Dan Campbell really, really wanted this guy. And they picked him at like 90 something, 96, 98 or something like that. But I know that they were calling about this guy from the 70s, trying to figure out how he could get back into the third round to make sure that he got Broderick Martin. And on the first day of padded practice, this dude put a punch onto Pro Bowl center Frank Ragnow and surprised him. And, it's one play, but just to be able to catch an elite player like Frank Ragnow off guard is special in there. He's 6'4", 350 pounds, and has extremely long arms. So if he does what he needs to do, it's going to be hard for teams to play against the Lions this year with both offensive and defensive lines. Eric says, I wish I wasn't at work. Nail on the head. Yeah. Okay. I think that I'm so far behind you guys. Let me see if I can get in here. So Jeremy says, I think they traded the first pick to give confidence to Field. Myself, I think that was part of it. Sometimes it's like, you know, the deal's too good, right? If the deal's too good, then it's like, wow, I don't really want to trade down that far, but you know, it is what it is. But you got a couple of trade downs in that situation, and you still got a good. I don't agree with Mike on this, because I think that Darnell Wright, there were 5 tackles in this draft that had that top grade, and after the Bears had selected Darnell Wright, I know that it screwed up the New York Jets because they thought that they were going to be able to get one of those top tackles at 15. And it didn't work out for him. So I think that's maybe part of it. I'm going to agree with part of that, Jeremy. Like, I think there's part of a reason they wanted to instill a little bit of confidence into him, but I think that it had to do with the magnitude of the trade, getting 2 first-round picks and another playmaker. That's too good to pass up. Let's see. Yeah, Bear Down Mike says Bears should be in a similar position that the Lions were last season. So what you guys are looking to do, if you don't want to follow the same mistakes that the Lions had, don't start out 1-6, Bears, and your team can get good if the coaching's good by the end of the season. I do believe you're going to lose against Green Bay in the first week. They have a little bit more of a proven defense, and Jordan Love can be protected because you're not going to be pass rushing anybody, and they're going to be able to run the ball on you. So I don't know about your chances in the first week, but I think that you're going to get them on the second one. I think you guys are going to lose first game. You're split with Green Bay. Jeremy says for KC, let's see. Eric says Rome was not built in a year. Well, if I'm a Lions fan, I guess Rome wasn't built in 100 years. So, yeah. Jason MC says, I can't wait to see you eat your words. Well, I ate my words last year. I did. The Minnesota Vikings surprised me last year too. But this is a very different Minnesota Vikings team. I mean, if I'm eating my words, I'm eating words with ingredients that I don't know, and ingredients that you don't know. You won the division, but not with you won it with Kendricks. You know, you won the division with Darius Smith. You won the division with Dalvin Cook. You won the division with Dalvin Tomlinson. You won the division with guys that are not on your team anymore, and you have a lot of non-proven things. I mean, I don't really eat words. I just call it the way that it is. And if you surprise, you surprise. I mean, that means that Alexander Madison's really good, right? That means that your offensive line takes a step forward, and Kirk and Justin Jefferson are really, really good. All of the losing Adam Thielen doesn't hurt you, right? You needed Adam Thielen to win that first game against the Lions in Minnesota. If it wasn't for Adam Thielen, you guys would have lost that game. So I'll eat my words. If I do believe they're going to lose all their games, and if they don't lose all of the division games, I'll come correct, and I'll be on here, and you'll say, "Wow, that Russ is a stand-up guy. He said that he would give me the credit. I just don't think that it is." Write that down, crumple it up, and swallow those words. I will. I haven't changed my demeanor the entire time. I have been consistent with the way that I feel about the Vikings. I think that your general manager should you should be not liking what your general manager is doing. Like, if that was my general manager, I would want him gone. After that BS contract that you just gave to Hunter. I mean, who is the GM in Minnesota? I mean, it's not Kwesi. I mean, Kwesi lets He lets all the GMs dictate to him. He lets people take advantage of him getting a second, third round pick out of a tight end. You let people take advantage of you in trades. You get rid of Zadarius Smith for nothing. You just release Kendricks for nothing. I mean, I wouldn't like it. I mean, can you defend all of those moves, Jason? I don't know how you can. I mean, your talent level went down. Now you're dependent on undrafted guys, and you're in the cap hell. You're dealing with the results of cap hell. Now, if you can overcome all that, the same thing as Green Bay. They're $40 million behind the 8 ball. Now they got their whole roster filled, but making the moves that they made them $40 million behind the 8 ball. I'm not saying it can't be done. You can build a whole roster with undrafted free agents. If you hit on all of them, then you got a good team, right? But I mean, you're competing against teams that have full clips. Kirk Cousins is just another Taylor Heineke with credentials. Well, no, he's not. That's just wrong. Kirk Cousins has been a solid NFL quarterback for his entire career. Let's bring up his stats, and I'll just show you that you're wrong. I mean, it's all good. Kirk, I love being able to educate people. Kirk Cousins in the career. Let's look at this here in the stats. Let's look at Kirk Cousins' Taylor Heineke career. 2015, 4,166 yards, 29 touchdowns. 2016, 4,917 yards, 25 touchdowns. Commanders, 2017, 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns. 2018, 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns. For 2019, 3,600 yards, 26 touchdowns. 2020, 4,200 yards. 2021, 4,200 yards. 2022, 4,500 yards. This guy has been kept in consistent, and that's a 8-year clip right there. Taylor Heineke. Yeah, let's see. Let's look at Taylor Heineke's stats. Taylor Heineke, he threw for 3,000 yards in 2021, 3,421 with 20 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. In 2022, he threw for 1,800 yards. So no, your name is drunk. You're just wrong on that one. It's okay though. There's 30% or 75% of our takes on here are awful. Sorry, dude. That's why Taylor is a backup and Kirk is a starter. There you go. Remember Nick Fairley? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I remember Nick Fairley. I remember him so well because they drafted Sue. Then they drafted Fairley the next year, and they shouldn't have drafted Fairley. They should have just waited till the following year and just drafted Aaron Donald. And then we might be talking about a different Lions team having Sue and Donald in their prime. Yeah, I don't like doing that either, Bear fan. The Mitch Trubisky. We could have had Aaron Donald. We took Eric Ebron. Oops. That's a fun question. Who will be the top QB in the NFC North this year? That's easy. Jared Goff. Jared Goff will be the top QB. That's easy. I don't think it's going to be Jordan Love. And it may not even be because Jordan Love's all that bad. It'll be because I think the style is going to dictate to that. But maybe he'll be slinging the ball all over the place. What do you think? Who's going to be the best quarterback in the North? Kirk Cousins? Again? Kirk Cousins, the best quarterback in the North right now. According to his peers, Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback in the NFC North. Sarah literally has all the killer instinct and nothing else. And that's why they have so many comebacks. Has Kirk, okay. So he's saying that he's good at coming back, but he ain't good at all of the rest of the stuff. I don't know, man. You don't just throw for 4,000 yards and not be good. Woody says that he wanted Paris bad. Okay, that's a good one right there. Let's see what we got. Russell is drunk. I'm not drunk. Let's see. Does that mean he has killer instincts? Let's see. Sarah says that he even said do it himself. He doesn't like to play with leads because that's when mistakes happen. Killer instinct does not equal skill, and that we definitely have some different definitions of the word. Hunter will have a record numbers. Okay. I mean, that's your only good pass rusher. I think, okay. Now, wait a minute. I got to call you out here, Jason MZ. So Hunter will have record sacks, but Za'Darius Smith was toxic. Hunter held out of your training camp and decided not to practice with his team over money, but Za'Darius Smith is toxic because you signed Hunter and you didn't keep Za'Darius Smith. I guarantee you that if Za'Darius Smith was the one that got the contract and Hunter was the one they shipped out, you'd be saying Za'Darius Smith will have record numbers and Hunter is toxic. It's amazing how that works. You probably think Dalvin Cook was a cancer too. Kendricks was a tough move, but trimming was right, not a year late. Cap hell made you do that, Jason. That's the point. And when I bring up the bad things about the Minnesota Vikings, this is about the deniability that you were in cap hell. You don't fix cap hell just by getting over the cap, right? You think because you got rid of all these guys and you got over the cap, you say, there's no cap hell. Well, by that definition, there's no such thing as cap hell because every team has to get over the cap. Okay? Or get under the cap. So the fact that you had to cut all your good players or trade your good players because you don't have enough money is you living in cap hell. And that's why your team's not going to be good because you can't just lose all of these guys. I mean, you can say Davenport's going to be great. I don't have any problems with that. But the thing is by belittling all the guys on your way out, it is what it is, man. I mean, you guys can call it what you want, but that's what it is. We're dealing with cap hell from Rick, not Quezzy. How long has Quezzy been in there? Because Quessy is making the moves that should be making you mad. Rick Spielman brought you a contending team. And now you're losing those players that Rick Spielman brought in. And you drafted guys in the first round like last year that aren't even playing. So Quessy has not done a good job so far. Quessy has been getting taken advantage of. We took advantage of you trading up from 32 to 12. Look at what these guys are getting for these trades, Sarah. Like when you're doing these draft day trades, the Bears spent 2 first-round picks to get Justin Fields. 2 first-round picks got traded up to number 1 to get Bryce Young. 2 first-round picks. And Quessy allowed Brad Holmes to jump from 32 to 12, 20 spots for a 3rd-round pick, essentially. For a 3rd-round pick. You got taken advantage of. Quessy's an amateur. Russell is drunk. That's where we were. That's what I don't day drink. Eric Thomas says Kirk is a modern day Phillip Rivers, can win a bunch of regular season games, but when it comes to the playoffs, well. Yeah, he didn't do very well last year. Didn't do very well last year. You know, you pushed all your chips in, but I'm sure that, you know, Kirk Cousins throwing for 4,500 yards and a ton of touchdowns, best quarterback in the NFC North. I'm sure it had nothing to do with your defense while you lost that playoff game. I'm sure that it was all Kirk's fault. The one thing I respect Kirk for greatly is this toughness. Dude misses like one game when he was out with COVID. See, Sarah's showing some love to your quarterback. You should be showing some love to your quarterback. Kirk Cousins is one of the best guys that's on your team. Sarah has good football knowledge. Look at Sarah. Sarah getting some props on here. Woody says that I think Cousins has more yards, but Goff will get to the playoffs. That could be true. That could be true because I'm hoping that that Goff doesn't do as much this year because we got these running backs. We got this good offensive line. I do hope they lean on the running more in the ball control because I love good defense. Zadarius was toxic in the locker room. You don't think not showing up to training camp is toxic? I mean, you like what you like. You want to justify the guys that are on your team. I understand that. Speaking of cap, Robert says the Lions had a ton of room. Any chance to still make a move? Sure. I mean, I heard Teddy Bridgewater was on the radar, had him in and out. I think at this point, people aren't going to go out and, spend a bunch of money right now unless injuries happen. You know, there's some guys chilling out there that when some camp bodies get injured and all that good stuff that, you have some guys that you can go to. So the Lions do have a little bit of money. Let's go check that out. Let's go over the cap. We can go and check out our teams. We can go check out the team. So the Detroit Lions, the Detroit Lions. Let's see if this thing will ever load up. Giving the over the cap check here. Come on now. They're not liking me. Maybe I'm running out of internet. Can you guys hear me? They're taking their time. Let's see if I can get there. Okay. Looks like the Minnesota Vikings have 18 million now after moving all of that Danielle Hunter money down the road. So that was another bad thing that he did right there. Let's say, Sarah, that the bad contracts, you just signed a bad contract. That contract they just had for Daniel Hunter is a bad contract because you're paying him $13 million in your cap number, right? Next year, the cap number not on the team is 11 million. And then in 2025, okay. So next year, you got to pay $11 million for a guy that's not on your team. And if you do re-up him, you got to roll it in and you're going to pay that money anyway. So he bent to the player's will. Right now, your GM is Danielle Hunter. He controlled the narrative in that situation. And I totally didn't answer the question. I am so sorry about that because I was supposed to look at the Lions. So let's look at this cap calculator right here. Let's go Detroit Lions. Maybe they won't let me open it up. Let's try over the cap again. So we can hear you, but okay. I keep on thinking that I'm going to be not heard in here. But I'm trying to get over the cap up, and for some reason, the Lions one isn't pulling up. So I guess I'll just wait until it does. Sarah says, I don't hate Kirk. I just think I just don't think he has the it factor. That's fair. That's fair. That's a lot of the same stuff that they used to say about Matt Stafford when they were here. Now I'm looking at the Lions cap number, and we are at $19 million right now. And that's cool. I mean, they got some money to get something done if they needed to get something done. And if not, I think that you can roll some of that money over to next year. So you said I'm all for Kirk proving me wrong. Hey, you know that there's been a great conversation with you and I, Sarah, about Kirk Cousins, and it's kind of funny that I'm the one defending him, but I'm definitely not going to defend Kwesi for the stuff that he's done. John Doran says Goff don't have the it factor either, Sarah. Yeah, he sure had that it factor throwing that 4th and 2 conversion in Lambeau. Hey, Jared Goff threw 15 touchdowns and 0 interceptions down the stretch. That is the it factor right there. That is Jared Goff coming into his own, a 28-year-old quarterback that is in his prime, reveling in his prime. And you guys can hate it up all you want. A dude balled out last year, Jared Goff. Woody wants some of this. Woody wants some of the smoke. No, we're not doing any smoke today, but I did throw the link into the comment. I got another 20 minutes or so that I go in here. I think Woody wants to have a conversation here a little bit about training camp. Let's see what Woody wants to do, but I did throw the link in there. If you guys want to have a conversation with me, pop on in here. And there's Woody. I was just about ready to cut it off. I didn't know.
No, you don't cut it off unless I get on, Russell.
That's a threat and a promise.
I am surprised about the knowledge that Sarah knows about the Minnesota Vikings. I am impressed.
I like that. I had a nice conversation with the comments right there with Sarah, and she was going back and forth. I like that.
Yeah, it's but I agree with that. That contract is a bad contract about Hunter. I mean, I don't know why. I heard some Viking fans yesterday on our chats and stuff like that, like, oh, we're gonna have one of the best defenses now. I'm like, you got rid of Kendricks. What, are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, what? Because you signed a guy that was on your team on the 32nd ranked defense, because you signed one of your own guys, you're gonna have a great defense.
I was like, wow. And I wanted to explain my answer about the best quarterback in the North. Yeah, like I said, I think Cousins is going to have more yards because they're going to be down more, obviously. But he always gets up over that 4,000 mark, just like Tyler or Henneke, right? Anyway,
hey, this is the home of the bad takes. We got them all over the place.
But I do think Jared Goff is the dark horse. He's going to win a division, and they're going to get in the playoffs. And I say they're going to win a playoff game too. So we'll see that, that second round, see how they do.
All I know is I've been tapering like my thoughts, because I've been listening to our training camp in Detroit too. And there's a whole bunch of really, really good talk about how the chemistry is between Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jared Goff, and that it is undeniable that it is night and day better than it was last year, and that Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to break out as probably a top 5 wide receiver this year because of the work, but not because he's the greatest diva wide receiver, because he's there earlier than everybody, catching 250 balls, and then after everybody leaves, he goes to the machine, catches 250 balls, and that's been his regimen since like draft day.
Right.
When they didn't take him in the second round, he's like, oh, I better get out to the crowd.
Here's a question for you. Do you think he works out with his brother on off season? I wish he would.
I tell you what, dude, like, it's funny. Like, if you go to PFF, right, and then you start isolating the stuff, go run blocking, and in the NFL, it's your boy, Equisius, however you
ESAQ.
Yeah, ESAQ and Amon-Ra are 1 and 2 at run blocking as wide receivers in the NFL. Now, obviously, Amon-Ra plays a bigger role, so I give him a little more props in that spot. But hey, the St. Browns know how to block.
Did you get into the calculator? You seen Detroit has 19,000?
19,000. Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Bears have 28.
Still have 28.
Yeah.
Hey, but you guys did get underneath of that threshold that you needed to for the year.
Yeah.
Or do you?
Yeah, we needed to spend like 15 more million, and I think Komet's contract took care of that. Plus, I don't understand. Like, I've been a Bears fan for 41 years. Went to 31 Bears games, but wasn't out in Chicago yet. But sometimes I don't understand what they're doing. And many weapons that we have, and we went this over House Hall report about our receivers we had. Keeping Velus Jones, which he is stepping up in camp when I was watching him. Now Dante Pettis, he's on the PUP list, which I thought Pettis would be better than Velus Jones. That was just my take. And then we go out. Yeah, and then we go out and sign Isaiah Ford, which I don't know if that's just a backup because Pettis is on the PUP list, or he's really fighting to get on the roster. I don't mind. Like I said, I'm a Hokie fan, and that's where Isaiah Ford's from. But sometimes I'm a little confused on some of these pickups and stuff like that, because they signed Isaiah Ford before Pettis went on the PUP list.
Well, I mean, sometimes the corresponding moves happen out of order, but probably one did lead to the other. They probably knew the injury, and they're like, okay, we got to go get a dude. And, but these are the 90-man rosters right here. So you're going to see a lot of like unknown dudes. You want to get different bodies in on your practice squad, give your guys different looks. I don't know if all these guys are going to be like competing to actually get on a team. Sometimes they're just bodies.
Right. And we'll see. I mean, 37, it's like they cut all these guys at once. It's how it was like two cuts. It seems like it's all at one. 37 players cut all at once. So
I want to address this right here. Bear Down Mike says Goff isn't going to replicate last season's teams, will scheme better for the Lions.
Boy.
So I'm going to address this, and I'm going to use logic, because this is like, you're not going to be able to scheme for him because they changed all their skill makers, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown is your, obviously that's the 1A right there, but Laporta's different speed. You don't have any tape on Gibbs. You don't have any tape on Montgomery in this offense. And I think this is by design. I think that you are going to see some of this stuff work like this while they're trying to find who the man is, like running behind these offensive lines that actually open up holes. You want to get the guy that's going to be able to take advantage of that the most. So,
and like I said, I like Raymond too, because he was a little sneaky little shit, and against us as well. So you never know. I mean, obviously St. Brown's going to be, I think, your number one receiver, obviously, but watch out for Raymond, because he can make plays happen as well.
Yeah, and where they've been using Laporta, like, I think that they're going to use him as the number 2 option in the pass game. I kind of like the Kelsey type of thing. You spend 34th overall pick and, picked the number 1 tight end on your board. I don't want to say he's the best tight end, because there was a bunch of good tight ends, but I think that he could be better than last season.
Yeah, think of the tight ends. You're talking about the tight ends. I was having an argument with this guy yesterday, and this is just my opinion. Like I said, I'm a nobody. I just give opinions and stuff.
You and me
and
both.
He was. I was saying I would take Mark Andrews over George Kittle. That's just how I think. And everybody says George Kittle is above Mark Andrews. I don't see it. I went over the numbers. They're pretty close the last couple of years. Yes, George Kittle might be more of a tough runner when he gets the ball. He likes to bowl people over. But Mark Andrews, he gets open. Like, I would like to see Kyle Pitts do that as well in Atlanta, because Kyle Pitts in college, he was stud. Yeah. And I think he needs a quarterback there in Atlanta. to get him the ball and some more. But yeah, I was having a big argument with this guy yesterday. I was like, I'm going to stick to it. I like Mark Andrews better than George Kittle. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
That's close enough. I wouldn't die on a hill on either one of those hills.
Yeah.
Woody Pettis is on the NFI list.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And if you don't know the difference between the NFI list and the PUP list, the NFI list, you can just like, they're on it and they can come off of it at any point in time.
Yeah. Just like Claypool. He was on a PUP list for a day and he got knocked off the next day. So,
right.
Maybe that's why they got Isaiah Ford too. But it's like I said, we'll see what happens. I have no idea. We have too many weapons. We don't want to. I still want to concentrate on getting an edge rusher. Before our first preseason game is August 12th, right. And I would like them to get an edge rusher before that, so he gets to work out with the team. I don't want to get an edge rusher at the third preseason game. Oh, we need an edge rusher. Oh, we know we need one. Have them work out with the team.
They do a lot of coach speak and they talk a lot like in the media, but sometimes the moves tell more than what they say. So in my opinion, if the Bears don't pick up a pass rusher beforehand, they're tipping their hat and letting you know that they aren't trying to compete this year, that they want to see what they have in their younger guys. And you don't want to throw just a pass rusher in off the street to have these guys. You have these young core guys that were there last year that not a lot of people would know the names of, that are going to get opportunities. And if Eberflus is smart, he's going to figure out what he has in those young guys before he goes out and gets one of those guys. But as long as we're doing this, let's throw this out there to Bear fan, because you got Yannick is out there and you got Houston that's out there. If you had to choose one guy that you wanted on your team that you're just improve your pass rush, who would that be, Bear fan? I want you to throw that in the comments, man. What do you think, Woody?
I think Yannick's been on a couple teams. He's going to be 28, but he played good on every team he was on. He wasn't like sucking on one team and good on the other. He was good on every team he had. Houston, if I had to choose right now, that's tough.
Good one, isn't it?
Who
is a good one?
Man, you make his smoke coming out of my ears.
Yeah.
If I had to choose, Yannick would probably. He wants a 3 to 5. He wants to have a 3 to 5 year contract. He wants to, but Ryan Poles won't give it to him. Guaranteed, he won't give it to him.
Would I think give him 3?
I would give him like a 2-year contract, and every other year afterwards would be an option year. That's what I would do.
That poor guy.
I
mean, that's the thing. It's like you brought up a point right there. It's like he's been good everywhere that he's went, and eventually you're kind of like, hey, like I'm good. Like, Can somebody give me a 3-year deal? Can someone give me some stability? And I don't blame him for that. You could get Houston on a 1-year deal because he's at that point in his career. He's going to add value. That would actually be my pick for you guys, is Houston, because Houston, I think, would be more of a mentor to the younger guys than Yannick, who's trying to make it and be on the roster. I want to be part of your future, where Houston's kind of like, he's been there. He's done that.
But like you said, like I said, it's going to 2-year process for the Bears. Like I said, I picked them to go 7-10 and not getting the playoffs this year. The only way that I would see them getting the playoffs or a playoff push is because their schedule. That their schedule is way in their favor. I think they're going to win the first 4 out of 6 games. And I agree with you. I do think Packers are going to beat us week 1, just plain and simple. But it's the ass end of the schedule that I think we're going to lose out. But if it's a 2-year process with the Bears, would you sign an edge rusher for a year only?
It depends. I mean, how good do you think that the question I would ask back is how good do you think your young guys are right now, and would they benefit from having a guy that could, show them how to be pros?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like our defensive line. Gibson, I don't think is the answer. I do.
No.
I do like Justin Jones. His like I said, his numbers can go up. He can stop the run, and he can get in there. But Billings, he's up in the air as well. But I mean, we'll see how this Dexter goes too. But
just got
drafted.
good.
So I don't know.
Best case scenario is you guys get, Justin Fields is serviceable, and you like to keep him. Then you get in next year's draft, and grab your future edge rushers right there. Boom, boom, first round. And
I agree. I agree with Eric with Yannick too. But like I said, he wants a 3 to 5 year contract, and Ryan Poles will not give him a 3-year. No way. Nope.
Yep. Gosh, Sarah coming in here, making Sarah blush again. Yannick plays for himself, and he's got that "I'ma do me" attitude,
like a Randy Moss. Yes, I'll play when I want to play.
That's a good take, and that would be the reason that I would take. I mean, Houston's been on the Kansas City Chiefs when they're competing Super Bowls, so he's been on the winning attitudes, the culture, and that's such a huge thing. Like, I never even realized how bad the Lions culture was until you start seeing what happens when good culture is there, and it's like, wow, is that ever important? That you got a whole bunch of dudes that are on the same page and that are willing to fight for each other. And it's not like, I'm going to get my sacks. We
need a Viking. We need Sarah on the show. Get her on. Let's see what she has, and she'll be the first Viking fan. Well, yeah. First Viking fan on, huh?
Yeah, Jamez comes on every once in a while.
Oh God. Well, I'm talking non-homerish here.
Well, he tried, but I don't even think Jamez wants to come on. He got kind of sick of trying to defend move.
No,
move after move.
He doesn't want my smoke like old times. Nope. No, he doesn't. Love him. He's a good guy, but he doesn't want my smoke. I tell you.
I like this one right here. Bear Down Mike says that Poles just needs to sign Houston to play 30% of the snaps. This will allow the young players to play enough to develop. Right there. I'm feeling you on that one. That is great. That's a great take.
Yeah, if it's a 1-year contract that Ryan Poles is going to do, I would sign Houston. If he wants to prolong this team without thinking of having a 2-year process, you can think he's going to get a 3 to 5 year contract for Yannick, but I'm telling you, it's not going to happen.
What's up, Jason? Nice to see you. Said that he's running a little bit behind this time because he had an epidural steroid injected into his neck. Well, I will pray for that, mister. That is speedy recovery, or whatever that steroid is supposed to do to your neck, that it does what it's supposed to do to your neck, man. Thank you for popping on and making it important. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And that comment I made before about Fields, I truly agree that's why we didn't go out and get Bryce Young. I'm thinking that they see something in Justin Fields that they didn't want to draft Bryce Young at number 1. That I think they see some faith in him, but I know you said because of the draft capital. I just think they have some faith in Justin Fields. That's why.
I mean, there's an element to that. I can agree to part of that, but I think it has more to do with the value. Like when someone comes up and is like, "Hey man, I'll sell you this Lamborghini for $75." You're like, yeah, okay, I can buy that. Okay, let's go.
Is that the one that was going 140 miles per hour?
That one was going 140 mile an hour. He bought it from Addison. Don't need it no more. So.
No, he has Uber. He has Uber for the next couple of years.
Oh, Love Conquers All says Lions go 9-8 last year and show a little promise, and now you Lion fans think that you were actually good. Unbelievable shit.
Hey, we don't know what's gonna. We don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, the Lions can take a shit, but as fans and what we see with our yeah, as we see our fans and what they're doing and how they played the year before and they got themselves better. I just like I said, I'd be afraid. I'm mostly afraid of Detroit in this division than any other team. But
I want to give him a compliment, though. I mean, but we do dabble in that smack talk, a little trash talk right there. And I got to give you a 3-banger on that one. That was a really good, unbelievable bullshit comment.
You like that?
I like that. I do. I like that. That's a Packer fan right there coming in and representing. Thank you for jumping on. Thank you. I'm glad I just didn't miss you guys. Yeah, I went a little bit longer today because I knew that you were getting that steroid in your neck. And no, I didn't know that, but it is good to see you on here. Bryce Young looks like a bobblehead.
I don't know. I was watching the training camp yesterday. He was throwing dimes, boy, and not Danny dimes. He was throwing real dimes to his receivers. And I know it's different because the defenses are not, in pads and everything like that, but that's a start.
You know what? I remember when they drafted Kyler Murray and I kind of felt the same way, and I still feel the same way because he did have a good year. But what's going to happen to Bryce Young is he is unbelievably talented. So I think that he is going to flash and he is going to do well for a minute. But what happens in the NFL is teams scheme, and they will figure out how to move him out of the pocket to take him out of his strengths, or they'll figure out a way to keep him in the pocket to where he can't even see over his offensive linemen. They'll scheme that. They will make him play at his weakest spot in the NFL. And if he can overcome that, then he can be a good NFL quarterback. But being 5'1" in the NFL today is it's just too much. And I know that he's not 5'1", but he's very short. He's the shortest quarterback in the NFL, and that's a hurdle. It is what it is.
I think CJ Stroud's going to have a better year, though. He's going to have a surprising year down there.
But look at CJ Stroud. 6'4", 225 pounds. He's built like he can stand tall in the pocket, throw. Use his ability. Bryce Young is going to have to compensate for the fact that he's short. Like, no matter how good a talented he is. Like, there's a 6'4" offensive lineman that's standing in front of you battling, a 6'3" defensive lineman trying to kill you. And you're just not going to be able to stand tall in that pocket. It's not impossible. Russell Wilson has a pretty good career. Drew Brees had a pretty good career. These guys, like, it's not impossible. It's just not as probable as we love to just make it, Calvin, yes, Bryce Young is the Spud Webb of the NFL. You get 5.
You like that?
I love that one right there. That's a great one, Calvin. Thank you for that one. Oh, Russell, you have a great show here. It's a lot of fun. God bless you, man, and thank you for the show, Woody. It was Q. Bearcat as well as Sarah rocks, and God bless you all. Thank you, love. Thank you for
thank you,
love. Thank you, love. And I think that we're about up again. It's 12:55, man. Yep. I got to talk to Woody, so Woody ain't gonna come and beat me up for not waiting for him. So I'm good with that. So you wanna plug your Wednesday night show, and I'm gonna let him go.
Yeah, come join us at Hallis Hall Report. You got me, Mike the Bear Fan, and Ken Dobie. Wednesday and Sundays. Wednesday is 7:30 Central Standard Time, and Sunday 11:30 Central Standard Time. Come join us.
I love that. And if you're a Packer head, I mean, that sucks to be you, but we do have a place for you too. Bill the Packer Fan. Home of the Frozen Tundra Network. You get your Packer news there first, roster moves, injury reports, breaking news, and stuff like that. Or if you're a Lion fan and you're on a smart crew right here, Detroit Lions Villains.
Yeah, I wanted to just chat with you just a little bit.
What's up?
Follow the Detroit Lions Villain Squad. We represent the Detroit Lions on here. Special thanks to the Detroit Lion News for allowing us to broadcast into the platform right there. And join us each and every day right here, weekdays, especially 11 a.m. Eastern time. Now that's 10 a.m. in the Central if you're Bear fans, but 11 a.m. Eastern. Thank you for joining us every single day, making us one of your listens here on the NFC North Open Mic, NFC North Talk with Russell Wayne. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for listening, because, I mean, it is August the 1st, 2023, and there's 22 of you guys listening to a talking head talk about football and training camp. So if you're doing that, I appreciate you. But until the next time, tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, God bless you. One Pride.